it's all about the service. You give people good service. You know, you're transparent and honest with people, and people will stick with you.
As a comparison to residential, I mean, I've even discussed with owners myself, because people aren't educated. I think that's one of the big things.
Obviously, this podcast is quite new. A lot of our views at the moment, we want to get out to sellers and we want to get out to buyers. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of That Commercial Podcast. We're joined with Frank, who was part of episode 1. Who we are calling Frank.
Yeah, it's Frank now.
Frank. And we have someone new with us, Alessandro, who is also part of the commercial team here. Give us a little introduction, Alessandro.
Yeah, so initially came from residential. Actually grew up with Luke, funnily enough.
We didn't speak though. We didn't speak.
Yeah, so came from residential, came from a larger company, wanted to come to Strada for a while, obviously transitioned over to commercial, which completely different game, but absolutely love it. But yeah, company itself, as I mentioned, wanted to come here for quite a while, and yeah, Strada itself completely separate from the rest. Obviously now working with Luke, who's got years of experience in the game. Obviously we've got Frank, Cameron, which one do you prefer? Who's obviously now joined commercial, but yeah, we've got a good thing going and we've got a bright future.
Yeah. And how long have you been with us now? What, 8 weeks, 10 weeks?
Yeah, I'd say, just coming up around 11, 12 weeks now.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, good stuff. Do you want to intro anything? Or I think most people.
Yeah, people know me by now.
Yeah, they know you by now. Okay, so I maybe just wanted to speak about how you're finding the transition now. Obviously, you spoke last time about moving from residential to commercial. You were 8 weeks in, I reckon, at that point, maybe if that. And just now you've popped your cherry, you're going.
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, when we last spoke, I just got back from Bali, so I was probably on suicide watch, as one is. But now I'm settled. Yeah, I'm loving it. I think the thing for me is, apart from all the things that you would class as usual, returns are higher. There's a lot of ways you can take it, but I think for me, it's like somebody rents an office for 10 people. It's 10 visas. It's 10 people who want to buy in Dubai. So I can use my residential knowledge and I can combine that with the commercial. And I've noticed that the clientele that you do get is a lot more suited towards me. Because probably when I started, I was, debating have I made the right choice? Should I quit? Should I do something else or whatever? To get to this point now where I'm actually loving it, feel, really confident. And the deal, relation to the deal. The deals.
Deals.
Look, it's just that what I've noticed is it's all about the service. You give people good service. You're transparent and honest with people, and people will stick with you. I think a lot of people in particularly residential and obviously in commercial too, just want to sort of say our buyers aren't loyal, sellers aren't loyal. But one thing I've sort of noticed is if you provide someone a good service, they are paying considerable amount for the fees. People will stick with you. As much as people like to say it's about numbers, I feel like because it's so centered around numbers that if you can sprinkle in a bit of differentiation about yourself, or make yourself a bit unique or whatever, or tell them a bit about you or whatever, you can build some strong relationships, and I've started to do so already. So future's bright. Future looks bright.
Obviously, this podcast is quite new. A lot of our views at the moment, we want to get out to sellers and we want to get out to buyers, even if it's just one seller, whatever it is, then great. But a lot of our audience is going to be brokers at the minute, maybe at other agencies, maybe even watching abroad. What would you say now you found, if there's a residential broker that's watching this now and is thinking, you know what, I've been put in an area which I don't really like, I'm not enjoying it, I struggle to sell the product. What would you say to that person that's maybe thinking, do I give commercial a go? What would you say? Obviously from your experience now.
Look, there's not one shoe fits. So for me, I'm obviously numbers based. Obviously I've got personality and I'm good. I'm good with people and stuff. But what I'm trying to say is I'm not a robot. But I mean, I am. There's probably times where I can go the other way too. But look, listen. As much as I'm into that side of the 30 side of it and the numbers side, Alessandro is maybe not like that, but there's no one who's better at building a relationship than him. I've seen the way he sticks to buyers. I don't stick to buyers that way. He's really, really good at and really strong at doing so. And I think a lot of it's just your mind. Like, don't just say, I mean, I'm not happy in what I'm doing. There's a couple of reasons. It could be the company. Anybody who comes here, once they step through the door, you know, I think a lot of people have misconceptions about companies when they don't work there.
Yeah.
You step through the door, you realise what a well, I don't know what the word is, but it's a great place to be. Everyone's supporting each other and genuine. There's none of this like, I'm changing the numbers on the system, snaky type of behaviour. Everyone's here for each other and wants to see each other do well. You can see that by the Strada Fast and all the different groups that we're doing. But yeah, look, listen, even if you're at another company and you're looking and you're going, right, I don't know about the team or whatever, like what we're building here and the sort of thing we're getting together, even with the likes of Nick and, you know, Mo, who we're sort of including in the team, and you can see the confidence growing day by day from when they come in. Yeah, you know, we've had to sort of, you know, bred them in and that. Yeah. They've obviously found it a bit difficult with, you know, to get up to speed, but now they're up to speed and Nick's done his first deal already in the first month. So it's a good place to be. And anybody who's interested, you know, people are reaching out. A lot of it's people wanting to work with me because they've known me for a while and stuff like that. As opposed to residential where it's more saturated. Yeah. But I mean, look, listen, first thing to do is if you are considering, you know, what would commercial look like, you know, reach out to people, because I didn't just reach out to people at Strada. I mean, there's people at White & Co. and there's people at other companies, you know, maybe I should have mentioned them, but who I've, you know, reached out and spoke to and built good relationships. And it does seem like there's sort of a better opportunity to do so because there's less of us. That's what I feel. Yeah, I think you're right. And then, so maybe a bit of context for Alessandro. Alessandro has been knocking down Strada's door for a long time. It was obviously someone... The yellow pants were it. That's why we didn't let him in. He showed up in a pair of like yellow pants, like Mr. Tumble. But we had to sit down to come back. To the podcast. 4 takes, 4 tries. No, but obviously you wanted to join the company for a while, and then also you liked the idea with commercial. Maybe just speak about kind of what attracted you to maybe want to do commercial as opposed to you were at Creek before, right? Yeah. So obviously I was at Creek. I think, as everybody knows in Dubai, obviously there's so many companies out there. As we all know, you've probably been in the position when initially you was at your previous company. I was always set on Strada. You've got to separate from the rest. You've got to do things differently. Now, the thing with commercial for me was, as Frank's already touched on, it's the number side of things, and you've also got twice the power. I mean, typically when people are coming to Dubai, we're either doing leasing or we're doing sales. People do leasing initially, they want the experience, a little bit of money to pay the bills. Obviously, sales is what's really going to power you through for the future years. Change your life, yeah. They're the life-changing ones. Good thing with commercial is you've got the power to do both. So you can do leasing, you can do commercial. If you are successful and, you know, you can sell an office, you can sell a floor, sell whatever it may be, you're then also going to lease that. So you're going to be dealing with an end user, you're going to be dealing with an investor. I think it's a lot more diversified. As we touched on this morning in the meeting, there's so many companies that are moving over to Dubai. You've got that much to deal with. I mean, for me personally, when I was doing residential, yeah, don't get me wrong, it was good, but the levels and the vision that I can see going forward that me and Frank have discussed is it's so far ahead. And again, the market is so much more untapped as a comparison to residential. I mean, I've even discussed with owners myself, because people aren't educated. I think that's one of the big things is everything is so residential focused, whereas the commercial market, if you sit down and you look at the numbers, it's so much more further ahead. But yeah, I'd say the number one that separates it from commercial to residential is the opportunity, hands down. Yeah. So perspective though. So if you what I've noticed since being involved in all the different branches you can take it. Obviously, by the way, your father's he's got a commercial background at home, right? So you're in that type of mindset. But one thing I've noticed is, first thing is like just educating people on the returns. You know, a lot of times, how many times have you in your life thought, I don't really want to go to this party, I don't really want to do this thing? As soon as you go or you have a great time or whatever, I think it's the same with investing in commercial. And vice versa, by the way. What you don't know, if you don't know it, you're never going to really understand what you can really do and there's a lot of misconceptions. Just sit down with us for 30 minutes. Anybody who's watching any of the other podcasts, whether it's Talal, Ranches or whatever, like obviously if you've got any questions and you're owning any of them communities, just reach out to us and we'll just quickly have a talk about commercial. You can't ever say what it's going to be or what it's not. It might not be for you. I think people just like to, there's a couple of trigger words, ROI. Like it might not be the ROI for you. It might be the appreciation. It might not be the appreciation. It might just be the ease of investing or sort of knowing what you know. And a lot of people are switching over. So don't just, maybe, sit on the fence. Ask us a couple of questions. It might not work for you and it might, but what we've noticed is the ways you can take it in terms of businesses and different things, and the sort of the reach that you can have. But I mean, at the same time, it's all about perspective, and you're in the right place when you're looking forward and not back, and you're trying to think about what you can do, opportunities you can take, as opposed to I'm in residential. I create this. There's no ways to take. The returns are low. The leads aren't good. It's all about you're in the right place, and you've turned the corner when you're looking forward and not back, essentially. So that's probably what it is as well.
Yeah, and I think obviously you touched on it with regards to the fees, right? The sales fees are the same. They're 2% and 2%. They're going to be the same. Obviously, you have the opportunity to sell 10 million plus offices, but then it's also for the rentals. The figures that some people are putting on for rentals, either in here or in other brokerages, I bet equivalent to like 5 million dirham sale. There was a deal that went on the board with our team that was 230 in total commission on a rental.
Yeah.
If you do that at the end of the month, you're getting paid on that within like 3, 4, or 5 days.
One thing to add about that though, just because the fees are high, I mean, listen, there's a lot of work that goes into them deals, and we do a lot. There's a lot of things we've paid for out of our own pocket just to help the deal go through, and a lot of things where you're servicing clients. People think, oh, you get paid at the end of the month. Life's so easy. This is great. It's not like that. Like, there's a lot that comes into it. There's a lot of, just you're viewing more things. You're having to go and reach out to people. There's a lot more to it in the sense of just in case people think, oh, it's that easy. You just it's definitely not. It's virtually a sale.
There's a reason why the fees are higher, right?
Yeah,
because there's a lot more expertise that go into it.
You're locking someone in whether it's a tenant side or a landlord side. I'm locking somebody in on a 2-3 year contract. I'm protecting you, getting you more for your money, hedging you against inflation. There's a lot more to it. It's not like, all right, they're paying a little bit more there, but then they're also benefiting from it. Like, these people aren't stupid. They're not paying a lot of money on fees for no reason. They want the service. They're factoring in money and things like that into the costs and, the average budgets and stuff like that. So I think people do sort of think, oh, the fees, you hear a lot of people, the fees are higher, yeah. They obviously are, but there's a lot that...
Yeah, there's a reason. Okay, and then in terms of like the conversations that you say that you're having now compared to some of the owners that you were speaking to in the Creek, what do you think the difference is between someone who's invested in the Creek, which realistically they've bought in the last few years, right? Not as familiar in the location, but that's going to be a very new investor. These commercial investors, some of them have had these properties since before 2010. Would you notice the differences in conversations between them two?
Yeah, the conversation is completely different. I mean, the investors that I'm working with now, I'm working with one at the moment. He's been in Dubai investing commercially for the last 15, 20 years.
Don't give too much away because you don't want no one to...
Cut that bit, please. His name's John. But yeah, I mean, as Frank was saying then, when we're with these guys, even talking about the fees, we've got to be so educated. It's not that simple. When we're meeting these owners, these investors, they've been in the game for that long. Believe me, they know everything. Yeah. And you're dealing with, you could be meeting a family, they want a garden close to a school. It's an emotional purchase. When you're meeting with these guys, you've got a board of directors, you've got an accounts team, you've got to look at the financing, you've got to look at the budget side.
Yeah.
If he's going to meet the licensing, there's so much involved. So when you're meeting with these guys, the conversations are so much further in depth, but off the back of that, this is going back to opportunity, is all of these things are going to lead down so many more roads. Mm-hmm. Again, that's going back to why I prefer commercial side of things, but the conversations, are completely different. You could be talking, as an example, you could be dealing with an investor that has a property to lease, could be 150, 200,000 dirhams a year. And then the next day, they could be looking at investing into a space that could be 10, 15 million.
Yeah.
So the transitions in conversations, the knowledge that you need to have, everything that you're going into depth on is a completely different ball game. But again, that's what gets us up. That's what gets you up in the morning. That's why we came here. We didn't fly off work across the world. You know what I mean? To do with anything different.
But look at the timeline of the product as well. So like, Creek is basically, I don't know the ins and outs, but I'd say it's probably 20, 30, 40% built. So a lot of it's not built. So you're using rentals, right? So a lot of people, particularly investing there, are investing in an idea of something that doesn't exist. With commercial, there's there's a shortage of good B grade really now, and there's next to no A grade. And then
sorry, just to cut you off. Then I just in a stat this morning, 30% of the inquiries that have come through in Q3 are for 5,000 square foot office space and above.
Yeah,
30%. The stock on the market that doesn't consist of 30%.
Yeah.
So for these like larger offices, what you're saying, they don't exist, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of it matches into the same thing that you were just saying.
And people, you're essentially at a different point in the market. Like people are looking and going, right, actually, look how much binaries increased, but there's still a lot more room for growth. And if these developers don't start building, obviously we heard about the launch in Motor City. If these developers don't start building grade A space, then the price of the existing space is going to be a lot higher. So it's further down the timeline in the sense that you're not waiting for something to even be built, to even mature. It's matured now, and it's still growing. So anybody who's investing in any of in this market, it's a more mature market. You're not waiting for something to happen. Like not against Creek, because we obviously still or any of these communities, but some of them, Dubai Hills, as it gets further and further along. Like I know Talal, again, people love Talal, but as I see the Dubai Hills growing, and you sort of see it maturing, you see the prices going up and up. Ours is already matured in like Business Bay or JLT, these buildings that people know. Any space that's even built from today is going to be 4, 5, 6 years away. So the price and the growth and the product sort of timeline, there's a lot more room to go. And it's already at a stage now where you're looking around and saying there's not much on the market really.
Yeah, it's supply and demand. You look at residential, there's buildings everywhere. There's thousands of agents selling everything.
Launch every day. Every day there's something new in JVC.
Exactly.
Business Bay. Like you think of how many Danube launches are still available. At the moment that launched years ago, like there's so many launches.
Yeah, £1 a month. £1 a month for 6 years.
No, but it is just, when you think about it realistically, there's that many launches, that many agents. They're all we've got this, we've got X, Y, and Z. You could invest your money anywhere. Everybody's selling the dream. You've got a small percentage of brokers that are very, very good. They manage the wealth of their investors. They know what they're doing, and then you've got a million agents that will sell you a grain of sand just to make a way back.
Yeah. Of course.
Do you know what I mean? Right.
Because some people don't have the time in the bank, so they just have to sell a product.
I don't think anyone's growing up like dreaming of investing in an office in binary, are they? Even if it is nice, like, you know.
Yeah, but that's where you make your money though, right? Like the people that make staples, they didn't dream of making.
But it's making them. You've got to look right. It's number one, it's supply and demand. The demand is high. It's as simple as it is, and then you've got to look at number two. These people can go and live anywhere, whether it's families, whether it's singles, couples. There's so much to choose from. When these companies are moving over, they're moving over for important reasons. They're making big choices. They're moving their families over. The demand is there. So at the end of the day, the proof's in the pudding. There's no other way to put it.
Come over to the Hollywood jungle business, right?
Yeah. So I think going forward, obviously we're going to have more episodes coming out, and I think we'll keep them specific to maybe why exactly someone would choose to put their money today into an office as opposed to off plan, or an office as opposed to residential. But I think we just done we touched on that quite well.
Yeah.
In terms of why maybe an agent would choose commercial real estate, and then also just covering the supply and demand at the minute, just the lack of supply, which is what we harped on about last time, but it is the case. We want to keep talking about it if it wasn't the case. Anything you gents want to add?
No, there's been some good news this week in terms of the the election, whether it's good or bad for you. It's good. It's good for business, innit? And you
France going into
I'm going to say,
politics.
keep these cameras rolling. We're going for another hour, yeah?
you're just going to see a lot more people coming into the market. There's the dollar's stronger, the dirham's stronger by default, and even people leaving the UK for the budget. There's definitely a lot that's changed for the better for us from a selfish point of view. That people are going to be coming here to either, whether it's to get away from the tax or whatever, to start putting money into this economy, even if they're not buying property, they're bringing money over here, and it's essentially helping us in the long run, whether it's more homes being filled or more businesses operating, and all these people want to invest the money somewhere. So we will see that at some point, and it's a good thing for us. So
And interest rates just decreased again.
Yeah, it hasn't quite kicked in just yet, but I mean, obviously it will do. It'll trickle down, and towards maybe even it's not going to be, might be January or something. We start seeing the real surge from the back of that, but
you get the surge in the new year anyway in Dubai. As it is, obviously people are planning to move. They've got their New Year's.
They just actually announced last night, haven't they? Another cut. Just another quarter point. So yeah.
Lovely. All right. Well, cheers, gents. That was your first time. All good?
Anything commercial?
Enjoyed it?
Lovely.
Go on.
He's shaking, isn't he?
He's trying to still.
Yeah, go on. Thank you very much, guys.
See you soon. Thanks.
See you soon. Go on.